I'm Miss Laura. Welcome to the Clarksville-Montgomery County Public Library craft time. And today we're going to make cinnamon dough ornaments. So the recipe calls for about a cup of cinnamon. I've kind of got mine in a heaping cup because I tried this recipe at home and I ended up adding a little bit more than a cup of cinnamon. So a cup of cinnamon and then 3/4 of a cup of applesauce. So I'm just going to eyeball that to about 3/4 of a cup. Okay. Now these ornaments smell great and will make your whole house smell good. All right. And then it calls for 2 tablespoons of school glue. So here we go. I'm going to do, that's a little bit more than a tablespoon. I'll make the next one smaller. And there we go. 2 tablespoons of school glue. So there we go. I'm just gonna put that down there. All right, and then you can just stir that up. Now at home, I stirred it up with a mixer just because that was an easy way to do it. But I understand that it's the recipe just calls for stirring it up, and then when it gets to almost the dough form, to use your hands. So that's what I'm going to do. So there we go. It's pretty doughy. Okay. It's kind of chunky, so I'm going to go for it and just mix it up with my hands. And the recipe does say that, you know, if it seems too wet, to add more applesauce or glue. And if it seems too dry, which this seems too dry, so I'm probably going to end up adding maybe some more applesauce and some more glue. I'm going to work with it a little bit first. Yeah, it really doesn't seem like it's going to come together in a dough, so I'm going to do that. Add some more applesauce first. Everything is going to be nice and covered with cinnamon. That's about 2 more tablespoons. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, that's going to be much closer to what we're looking for, and I'll add just some more glue too. I don't think you can really mess these up. As long as it's close to just a good cinnamon doughy feeling is all you need. All right, that's getting closer. Let me try to get my hands in there again. Yeah. It's coming together nicely. Okay. Not a bit messy. Yeah. All right. That's looking pretty good. Let's see how that feels. What you want is a nice dough that will roll out. And I would recommend using a mixer at home because it just came together much more smoothly with a mixer. But you can do it with your hands, obviously. All right, that's pretty good. All right. So, what I did at home was I laid down a piece of parchment paper and I rolled out the dough on parchment paper. But I don't have any here, so I am just going to roll it out on this table and then clean the table really well. Okay. The dough isn't quite as smooth as it was when I did it at home. I really do think maybe using a mixer makes a difference. But we'll get the idea. Now, you can roll it out from anywhere from like a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. But I like the dough to be thicker because if the dough is too thin, when you cut out your shapes, then it's more likely to curl as it dries and more likely to break. So I've got a snowflake and I've got a heart, will do, and a dog biscuit shape because all of my dogs have Christmas ornaments on the tree. I've got a gingerbread man. So just all kinds of ornament shapes for your Christmas tree. So you can see you just can cut your shapes. With the mixture at home, I got about 12 ornaments out of one recipe. And so that seems like 10 to 12 probably is what you'll get. All right, so what I'm going to do is pull up the excess. And then what I did was I took my ornaments and I put them on a baking sheet. And I baked them in the oven on 225 for an hour. And then I flipped them and baked them another hour on 225. Flipped them again. Probably left them in another half hour. And then I took them out, flipped them one more time. And just let them sit. And they were very nicely dried out. Now, before you bake them, you want to remember to make a hole in them. And I had a chopstick at home that I used. But if you make a hole through, that way you can hang your shapes as ornaments on your trees. So that's just a paintbrush hole. As long as you can poke a ribbon or yarn through there, the hole is about the right size. So I'll do the Christmas tree shape. Just poke a hole right through. They hold up pretty well to handle and that kind of thing. So put those on a baking sheet, bake them 225 for 2 to 3 hours. As long as you have some time to leave them out to dry, you don't have to bake them, 3 hours. But if I was at home, what I would do is take this and roll it out again and cut out more shapes because I've got 5 already and plenty more dough. So I'm just going to set these aside. And wash my hands. And then I'll show you what the finished ornaments look like and maybe we'll paint a couple. Okay, so once you have baked your ornaments, leave them out to dry. You can flip them a couple of times so you try to get them as flat as possible. These came out pretty well. Got the holes in them for hanging the string. This one may be curled just a tiny bit, but not bad at all. So I cut out some gingerbread men. It's perfect color, I think, for the gingerbread men. Some wreath shapes, some heart shapes. Got a snowflake, another heart, candy cane, and the dog bone. So you can do different things. With a couple of these, I'm going to do some glue and glitter. Wonderful time to get to use your glitter. So I'm not a big fan of using glitter all the time because it gets everywhere, but you want a glittery Christmas ornament. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going to put some glue on, smooth it out, and then add some glitter to my ornament. So this would be a nice glittery snowflake. Okay. And actually I've got enough glue on there to do my heart too. And you can let these dry and then paint the other side or decorate the other side if you want to so that they're two-sided ornaments. All right. Smooth that out just a little bit more. Okay. All right, so there's the glue. And I got a little bit in the hole of the ornament, so I'm going to try to clean some of that out. There we go. All right, so there's glue. And for my snowflake, I'm going to use some silver glitter. All right. And then for the heart, I'm going to add on some red glitter. Of course, these smell like cinnamon. So there's the red heart. Want to make sure I maintain the place I'm going to put the string through. And then there's our snowflake. Very pretty. And you can let that dry and then flip them over and do the back side if you want to. All right, so that's one idea. Another way to decorate them is to paint them. And so I have a little bit of white paint, well, not a little bit, a great big bottle of white paint here. So I'm going to paint the candy cane white, and then I'm going to use some puffy paint to paint on the stripes. You can just do anything you want with them once you get them made. Decorate them any way you want to. All right. Now ideally, I guess we would let this dry before we add the other paint. But I will try to do it now and then see how that goes. Hope it goes well. So, I'd like to test that out. Okay, there we go. All right. You get the idea. There we go. Candy cane, and then so there's another one. And the kids will have a good time painting these. They don't have to be perfect. And you can write with a Sharpie on the back of them, you can write the year that you made them. 2020 Christmas ornaments. A year to remember for sure. So this is my dog bone, and what I do is I will then use the kind of puffy paint to write the dog's name on the ornament. Because at my house, the dogs have almost equal status to the kids. Sometimes more. All right, so then you can see that that makes a good base for writing your puppy's name. So, the only thing you have to do then is let them dry and then add your string, your yarn, or your ribbon, and you've got ornaments for 2020. Don't forget to put the date on the back. Thank you so much for joining me.